Hi everybody, I'm just going to do a quick update on some of the past projects I've been working on. First one, I don't know if you remember the mannequins. I haven't glued this on yet. But what I did was I took you know those patterns, you can get all the different animals. You can get pigs, cows, rabbits, you name it, and they're going to have a design for it. But anyway, what I did is I was trying to figure out how I could get a head on a mannequin top so I could, you know, display my hats or whatever else you want to display on your mannequins. So what I did is I took a rabbit pattern and I shrunk it down to what I thought would fit on the mannequin. It's a little bit smaller than a doll head, so you might want to go bigger. But I couldn't figure out how to do this bottom. If I was smart, I probably would have gone a little bit bigger on the seams down here so I didn't have so many gathers down here. But what I did was I used a PVC coupler that I bought at Home Depot or Lowe's. I think they're like 27 cents. This was like 36 cents. So anyway, I put it in there, and then I put this in here, and then I took my fabric and I glued it down to the inside. This looks even smaller. 5/8 of an inch pole is what I used in here. This one's a little bit bigger. I got the different sizes. But that's how I ended up thinking that I could get this to fit on the top of a mannequin. Yeah, you know, since this was my first attempt, you could do a much nicer job and get that so it's not, so it looks like it's more, you know, so it fits better is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, that was my first attempt at putting an animal head on top of a mannequin. So that was that. And then I was working on, my last video was putting the, using the applique stitch to go up the side. So what I did is I went ahead and I did a one across the top of the pants also, and it came down and made a diamond right here in front of the pants here. I tried that binder. I did okay on the, let me take this off. I did okay on the sleeves. But once I got to the neckline, because it had curves in it, it didn't do so well. So I ended up just sewing it on, turning it, and then just putting a seam in it. But this was just a little knit blouse. But that was that binder, and that's how I got those sleeves made. It turned out okay on the sleeves, but like I said, the back didn't work so well. So that was the blouse that went with the pants. Another thing I was trying to work on was some shoes. I went back to the vinyl shoes again, and I was wondering if it was possible to put this vinyl in the oven. So I went online and I looked up at what temperature vinyl melts, and most of the sites I went to says it melts at 180. So what I did is I took the polymer, I made my shoe just like this. This is just cardboard with hot glue holding it down to the cardboard. And I molded the clay over the actual shoe itself. And I ended up putting it in the oven at 200 degrees for 35 minutes, and the vinyl got soft, but it didn't melt completely. I didn't do these at the same time because the first one I did, I tried to only go to 180, and I don't think the clay got hot enough to cure. So then I made another one and I went to 200. The only thing, that vinyl does get soft, and the tongue inside that's sewed on like this will tend to drop down to the bottom of the shoe. It'll lay down on the bottom of the shoe like this once it comes out of the oven, but once it cools down, it'll pop right back up like it never was heated to begin with. One thing you have to know is, though, if you're using the hot glue to Like I put hot glue here to hold the seams down on the side so it'd be easier for me to put the shoe together. And what happened was that glue melted. Once I finished making these up, there's no glue anymore on the sides. You can see that it pops right out. So you're going to have to sew a holding. Otherwise, you're going to end up with it flopping out like that, and you're not going to want that. So here is the beginning of I was going to try doing a little pump with the vinyl, and I was going to see if I could put a little heel on the bottom of this pump to see if that would work in the oven too. But I was thinking I was just going to glue instead of lining the vinyl and before I put it in the oven, I was just going to glue a row of some kind of trim around here after it's done and cooled down out of the oven to make a pair of high heel pumps. As far as texturizing the bottom of these clays, I bought this a long time ago, months and months ago. It's called Texture Foam, and it was at Michael's, and it came in packages like this. And I used the orange one here I just rolled this over my clay, and that's what gave me the texture on the bottom of these tennis shoes. But pretty simple. Another thing is, though, you're going to want to make them at the same time. I didn't make them at the same time, so I wasn't really conscious of the shape and size of them. So I ended up really messing up the size of one. So if you look at these, you'll see that this one's I went way too far out with the clay on this one. So you're going to want to make them at the same time as each other so you can get the clay balanced. As far as the side texture on it, I used this on one, trying to try that as a side texture, and then on the other one I used entirely different texture. So you're going to want to texturize your soles at the same time. But anyway, that's basically what happened. And I tried to make shoelaces out of this same knit fabric that I made the pants out of. I used the same fabric for the shoelaces, and then I just used a coffee stirrer and glued the coffee stirrers on for the I didn't do any of the fancy stuff on these because I didn't think honestly I didn't think it would work at all. I thought the fabric would completely melt and I wouldn't be able to use it in the oven anyway. But this is the vinyl. I haven't tried the marine vinyl. It's not as thick as the glitter vinyls. So I don't know how that will work in the oven, but it worked. So I went 200 degrees for 35 minutes, and it seems to have cured the clay all right. And that's the vinyl I used. But anyway, that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to try a pair of pumps with the vinyl and see if I can, with the clay, and see if I can make a nice pair of pumps for the dolls. Okay, so I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.